listen and hear me well. If you are considering getting married, you need a prenup. I don't care, women, men, he, her, she, they, and everybody in between. Point blank period. If you are considering getting married, you need a prenup. I don't care if you have 2 pennies or 200 billion pennies. Get that prenup. I am not feeling my best, but when I tell you this message is so important, when I was considering getting married, I've been married for almost 3 years now in a couple weeks, and I'm also in the process of going through a divorce. And we'll talk more details about that in another video, even though I've been super transparent. But if you're new here, this has been a super stressful situation for me, as it typically is for a lot of people, and it doesn't have to be. So when I was considering getting married, my mother asked me, was I getting a prenup? And I was like, oh, he would never do that. I love him, and I know for sure that he loves me. Like, we're not getting divorced. That's another one that I hear. Like, you only get a prenup if, when you get a prenup, you're planning for something to happen. And it's like, no, I'm protecting myself. If something does happen, there's always an if. You never know. Hindsight is 20/20. Child, you couldn't have told me that I wasn't going to spend the rest of my life with that man. You couldn't have told me that it wasn't going to be, till death do us part. And some people truly do feel that way, but things happen. So I opted against a prenup. I didn't have one, or even a postnup, which is something that I talked about, because even after you get married, so if you've been married for a year, even 5 years, you can say, hey, let's get some protections in order just in case. And if you don't need it, then you don't use it. But unfortunately, I think prenups have gotten such a bad rap, because when people hear the term prenup, they think the worst, or they think 50-50, or nobody's gonna take all of my stuff. And it's like, it doesn't even have to be all that. It really doesn't. It's really not that serious. It's whatever you want it to be. You could have nothing right now and still say, I don't want less of what I already have. If I have nothing, I don't want. You could assume somebody's debt. You could assume somebody's everything. You could put all of that in a prenup. It could say whatever you want it to say. I mean, I know we're not supposed to be using ChatGPT, but you could ask AI, hey, what does a prenup look like if I don't have anything? Give me a few options, So when I got married, I had one asset. I had one property, my house that I bought when I was 25, and I got married when I was 28. And I never thought that, it depends on the state. Going back, I got married 3 years ago. I bought my house 5 years ago now, and I got married in the state of Maryland, but my house is in the state of Minnesota. So I'm not thinking that this house becomes marital property once I'm married. And even if it is marital property, like, I don't need it, just is what it is. But no. So when I decided that I wanted to sell my rental property in Minnesota, I was kind of, in limbo about the divorce. And everything was going smoothly. I never really had to have any conversations with my husband to talk about, this is what I need from you, this is what I have to do, this is what we have to do. It wasn't up until a couple weeks ago that they sent me over some paperwork, and it asked me, has anything changed in your marital status? Has anything changed in this? Has anything changed in that? And I'm like, yeah, I got married, even though I thought it was obvious, because my name, I assumed my husband's name. So my name that's on the paperwork when I bought the property is not the same name that I have now. So I couldn't even lie if I wanted to, even though you shouldn't be lying. But anyways, so I'm filling out the paperwork, la-di-da-da-da. I didn't think it was a big deal or even understand why they were asking me. But then I get an email, and the lady that works at the title company, I don't know her title, but she said, hey, Kendall, I see that you've got married. Since you've owned this house, we're going to need your husband's approval and signatures to go through with the remainder of the process. And I'm like, what the hell? What the helly? What the hell are you going to say? Like, why? And it just... Woo! That's that BS coming up out my system, because I just can't believe that. I don't understand that. So I'm looking at my phone like, it just so happened that we haven't been on like the worst of terms during this process, but also it's been times where it's been pretty bad to where it's like I know that if I ask him right now, he's gonna say no. So the first time when she asked me, she was like, "Oh, I just need an email address so I can send over the paperwork." So I'm like, "Okay, cool. Here's an email address." So then she gets to the point where it's like, "Okay, yeah, now we have some stuff that needs to be notarized." Okay. So now I gotta call this man. Hey, um, and this is why I say the person you marry is not the person you divorce, because sometimes, depending on, like how a marriage ends, sometimes not a lot. Sometimes marriages end amicably to where it's like, oh yeah, we can still be friends. But the situation that I'm currently going through is like it's a little bit of trust that's been lost. So now he's questioning me like, what I gotta do with that? He's confused too. What this got to do with me? Did you put my name on something? Did you refinance that house and use my credit? Did you do this? Did you do that? So now I gotta answer to a man at my big age. When I was grown, when I bought that house with my own money. I put my own time, energy, and effort into purchasing that house. So now it's like patriarchy in America, man. What the hell does this have to do with him? So here it is. I have to plead my case with this man and explain to him why he has to sign for me to sell my house. And then I'm just so lucky, not even lucky, just grateful to God that he was gracious enough and that my husband, was kind enough to actually like go through and sign the papers and did not ask for a dime. Even though throughout the course of the marriage he's gotten way more than that's another story for another day. But he very well could have. Well, I remember it was just last week that he actually agreed to meet with me in front of a notary and sign. Again, all of this would not have had to happen if I had just had a prenup to say, anything I come in with, I'm leaving with. You don't have any authority. You don't have any say so. You don't have any this. You don't have any that. It's mine. Whatever I come in with, I'm leaving with. And really, technically, it's like whatever I gain while we're married to, if I want to buy a house and you don't want to buy it, then it's mine and I can leave with it. Not, that movie, Why Did I Get Married, or Why Did I Get Married to, one of them, where the wife was an author and she's like, this is my book, and he's like, all them ideas I gave you, all the time that I helped you, everything that I helped you put into this book. And it's like, nigga, what? Things like that. But anyways, so he being my husband agreed to meet up with me for us to sign the paperwork in front of a notary. And like we're both just looking through the files, looking through the paperwork, like, okay, this and this. It's just too, for me, it's too risky, because we get to the point in the paperwork where it says the amount of proceeds, and it's saying our, and it's saying, like our bank account, our proceeds, our this, our money. And I'm like, no, mine. So I had already filled out a lot of the paperwork before I even got there. I just needed, like sign here, signature here, initial here type of thing. So, but he, and rightfully so, to protect himself, he's reading through it. So it says how we want our proceeds broken down and where we want it sent. Do we want it a check? Do we want it a wire transfer? Do we want it this? So I had 100% of the proceeds going to me in my bank account, and he looked like, where's my portion? But if he wanted to ask for 2%, even 2%, 5%, 50%, he could have, and that's just would have been something that I would have had to fight, which also costs money, time, energy, effort, and money, when you could just protect yourself going into it. So I don't know. I know somebody now close to me who's engaged and considering getting married, and I asked them like, do you plan on getting a prenup? Because they also have a house and other assets. and debt and things that they've worked hard for. And the person that they're marrying, they don't have that. So it's like people change. You know, like time, I've said this in a video that I posted. Time changes people, money changes people, bad breakups change people. And again, I'm so grateful that my husband hasn't changed so much to the point where he was just gonna be like so petty to say like you ain't selling nothing or you gonna wait or I'm gonna, because then I would have had to put my house back on the market. I would have had to continue paying the mortgage. You know, it would have pushed my closing date out. It just would have been a mess, and it doesn't have to be. So it's like save yourself the drama, save yourself the time, save yourself, because this could have gone so many ways. You hear stories about people that marriage ruins their credit. I'm sorry, divorce ruins their credit. Divorce ruins, you know, like somebody just takes, you have a joint bank account, and somebody just takes $50,000 out of your savings, out of your retirement. It can get messy, and it doesn't have to. If you simply in the beginning say, "Hey, you know, I love you. I want to be with you for the rest of my life." But if it just so happens that, you know, something happens, because you are not, if I think about it, I'm not even the same person I was when I was 28. The person I am today is not the same person I was when I was 28 years old. I've grown so much. I still got some growing to do. But I'm not the same person. I'm damn sure not the same person I was when I was 25. My mindset is different. My grind, my hustle, the way that I do some things, it's like, it's different. And that's okay. People change. But you want to make sure, I can't say it enough, that you are protected. So think smart. Be smart. Don't be no fool. And take it from me, don't ever think, like the old folks say, keep on living. Don't ever think that it can't be you, because it can be. And it will be, especially if you have that attitude. Be humble. Stay humble. I'm literally just a girl. But I know that if I get married again, if you knew better, you would do better. And you don't have to make the same mistakes that other people have already made. I didn't already stepped in it. You don't got to step in it to see that it stinks. I'm telling you. So love you so much. Consider subscribing to the channel, especially if you are new here. Follow me on Instagram, on TikTok. Keep up with me on YouTube Shorts, because I post there typically every day. And I will see y'all in the next video. Ciao.